There's a unique moment in every personal transformation where fear feels overwhelming. Not right at the start, but just after something inside you shifts. It's after a powerful meditation that opens your heart, or the instant you finally sense alignment with the future you've been envisioning. It's that bittersweet moment when you realize something inside you has changed, when it feels like you've cracked the code to your own evolution, only for fear to creep back in unexpectedly. Suddenly your thoughts spiral, your nervous system kicks into high alert, your body tenses, and doubt floods your mind. It can feel like you're sliding backward, but this is precisely the moment where most people misunderstand what's happening. What you're experiencing isn't failure. It's the tension between your old self dissolving and a new quantum version of you starting to emerge. Many believe that being aligned means feeling calm and peaceful all the time. That once you tune into the frequency of your dream reality, everything will fall effortlessly into place. But this isn't how profound quantum shifts operate. In fact, the more transformative the path you're stepping into, the louder your survival instincts will scream. This is where biology meets consciousness in a very real way. Your body's fundamental role is to keep you safe by relying on what it knows from your past experiences. Manifestation, however, demands breaking free from familiar patterns and stepping boldly into the unknown. Your nervous system isn't opposing your dreams. It's responding to unfamiliar signals that feel threatening because they challenge its sense of control. Much like your muscles resist when you stretch beyond their usual limits, your subconscious resists when you stretch into a new identity. This resistance isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of growth. This is the exact moment where many people retreat back to their former selves, not because they lack readiness, but because they misinterpret this inner resistance. Instead of seeing it as a call to steady yourself, they see it as a sign to run. It's not a signal that something's wrong, but rather that something is working and your system needs time to recalibrate. Here's what often goes unspoken. Fear does not mean you're off course. When you observe fear without judgment, it reveals itself as an indicator of transformation. It's the remnants of an old self loosening its grip to make space for the new you. To dig a little deeper, quantum physicist Amit Goswami explains that your quantum self isn't limited by time, space, or your personal history. It's a realm of infinite potential, an aspect of you that already exists in perfect alignment with your highest truth. But accessing this self requires focusing your intention to collapse the wave of infinite possibilities into a singular reality. Crucially, this observation must be clear and undistorted, not clouded by fear, panic, or the urge to control outcomes. That's why managing your emotions isn't just a method for healing. It's the bridge between who you are now and the version of yourself already living your ideal reality. Joe Dispenza puts it beautifully. Your body reacts to your thoughts as if they're real events. When you dwell in fear, your body activates survival mode. When you think in alignment with your future self, your body begins to recalibrate toward that new possibility. But this shift doesn't happen instantly. There's a gap, a sacred discomfort, between the identity you're leaving behind and the one you're stepping into. Your nervous system wants to pull you back to what's known, while your soul urges you to stay the course. The truth is, staying aligned doesn't mean banishing fear. It means recognizing fear as a signal, not of danger, but of departure. You're moving away from a familiar identity, one that may have kept you stuck, but also felt safe. You're breaking free from neural pathways wired for limitation and stepping beyond the gravitational pull of your past self. Fear isn't a stop sign. It's proof that you're in motion. So when fear interrupts your transformation, there's no need to restart, question your worth, or force yourself into a high vibration. Instead, pause, breathe, and watch the fear without becoming consumed by it. Remember that your quantum self has already made the leap. Your only task is to maintain enough coherence to meet it. This is a new way of relating to fear, not as an enemy to eliminate, but as a messenger to listen to, decode, and transform. In fact, fear serves as valuable feedback. It signals that your energetic structure is shifting in ways the old self can't yet accommodate. Here lies the paradox. Fear doesn't come from your quantum self. It arises from your conditioned body, which equates stability with limitation. This is where the real leap happens. Not in your visualization exercises or meditation sessions, but deep within your biology. Your nervous system craves safety, so anything unfamiliar, no matter how aligned or expansive, can feel threatening simply because it's new. This is not self-sabotage. It's survival instinct doing its job. Amit Goswami describes the quantum self as the bridge connecting consciousness and potential. It isn't attached to physical form but to awareness itself. As your awareness begins to shift through intention, repetition, or elevated emotions, you start accessing this bridge. But the experience isn't always blissful. Sometimes it feels like disorientation, heat rising in your chest, or tears that appear without clear reason, all because your body is catching up with the choices your mind has made. Old patterns begin to unravel. Subconscious programs that ran quietly in the background start to crash. That shaking and disruption, that's the quantum flow actively rewiring your being. Joe Dispenza teaches that by age 35, roughly 95% of who we are is governed by the subconscious mind. Our habits, beliefs, and even biochemical addictions to specific emotions. This is why transforming your life involves rewiring these deeply ingrained patterns. It's not about forcing yourself to be fearless, but learning to coexist with fear as part of your expansion. In this space between old and new, you build resilience and begin to embody your highest self fully. Transformation is never a straight path, and fear is not a sign of failure, but a natural part of the process. The discomfort you feel is proof that your system is evolving. Your boundaries are stretching, and your consciousness is expanding. Embrace fear as a compass guiding you toward growth, not as a barrier blocking your progress. By staying present with it, observing it without judgment, and continuing to move forward, you align with a powerful quantum self already waiting within you, ready to manifest the life you were always meant to live. If you've spent much time stuck in survival mode, constantly on edge, reactive, skeptical, and guarded, then even the most joyful moments can feel threatening. Peace may seem unfamiliar, and growth feels uncomfortable, almost unbearable. Your body instinctively clings to what it knows, even if that familiar place is one of struggle or pain. This is why people who start manifesting love often wrestle with feelings of unworthiness, why those stepping into abundance suddenly panic about loss, and why those calling in freedom sometimes feel utterly lost. The subconscious mind isn't pushing back against your desires. It's asking a simple but crucial question. Are you certain we're safe here? This is the hidden spiritual work that rarely gets the spotlight. The slow, patient recalibration of your nervous system to accept peace as normal, to welcome joy without guilt, and to embrace expansion without bracing for a crash. You're not just picking a new timeline to live by, you're teaching your body how to inhabit it. This isn't a chore or checklist. It's a devotion, a continuous practice of awareness. It means catching yourself when your breath grows shallow, your jaw clenches, or your thoughts race, and gently guiding your attention back, not towards some perfect state, but simply back to presence. Let's get real. When fear flares up during your transformation, how does your body signal it? Is it a tightening in your stomach, cold hands, a chest that feels constricted? The secret to staying aligned isn't to ignore these cues, but to meet them with conscious awareness. Place a hand over your heart, slow your breathing, and tell your body, I see you're scared, but we are not in danger. We are just expanding. You don't shove fear away. You sit with it, you nurture it, and through that care, you reclaim your own inner signal. Something subtle shifts when you do this. Fear doesn't vanish, but it transforms. It becomes information, a guidepost pointing to the fact that this leap is happening not just in your mind's eye, but deep within your cells. You're not merely visualizing change, you're becoming it. An embodiment, unlike fantasy, carries weight. It flows through muscles, breath, and memory. That's why it requires practice, not force. Consistency, not perfection. Now, if you feel comfortable, I'd love to hear from you. What emotions, sensations, or patterns tend to pull you back just when you're on the edge of a breakthrough? Naming those feelings takes their power away. Sharing them shatters the illusion of isolation, and recognizing those struggles in others reminds us all that no one shifts alone. We're in this together. Next, let's dive deeper into what lies beneath that fear. Those unconscious patterns, emotional echoes, and forgotten wounds. They don't surface to block your progress, but to finally be seen and integrated. Yes, the body resists change, but so does the unconscious mind. When you begin moving into a new identity, your mind doesn't just question whether you're capable. It dredges up every fragment of yourself you left behind on the journey. This is why quantum leaps often feel like emotional ambushes. As you align with abundance, old voices whisper that you're selfish. As you embody love, unresolved shame rises like smoke through your chest. As you claim your freedom, guilt tightens inside as if you're betraying someone by simply being more of who you are. Carl Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This isn't just philosophy. It's the lived reality of shifting timelines. Entering the quantum field with clarity means not only awakening your highest potential, but also activating shadow parts wired deeply into your identity. These parts don't want to sabotage you. They want acknowledgement, care, and integration. Each leap awakens pieces of yourself that survival once silenced. They may appear as fear, doubt, jealousy, or anger, not because you're broken, but because these parts evolved to keep you safe in an old environment. They learn to shrink to avoid criticism. They learn to please to avoid abandonment. They learn to numb to avoid the pain of rejection. Now, as you stretch into a new realm of possibilities, those survival patterns fire again, not to harm you, but to test whether you're genuinely choosing transformation. This test isn't about external challenges. It's vibrational. Can you stay centered when your inner child panics? Can you hold your frequency when old wounds flare? Can you respond to discomfort with presence instead of performance? This is the heart of conscious transformation, not bypassing fear with platitudes of love and light, but meeting it with maturity, compassion, and honesty. Here's the most profound truth. Your shadow isn't trying to pull you backward. It's trying to come along for the journey. Those scared, rigid, hurt parts of yourself aren't obstacles to growth. They are the parts that need to be brought into harmony with your expansion. When you integrate them rather than reject them, your frequency doesn't just rise, it stabilizes. You stop leaking energy through internal conflict. You become unified and whole. And wholeness is magnetic. Imagine standing at the edge of your desired reality as fear rises. Most people try to suppress it, but you do something different. You sit with it, breathe, and say, "I see you. You're welcome here. We're moving forward anyway." In that moment, you're not just taking a leap, you're leading yourself. That leadership becomes a vibrational beacon the quantum field can respond to. The quantum doesn't demand perfection. It requires clarity. Clarity isn't the absence of fear. It's your willingness to move alongside it, to breathe through it, to carry it gently instead of letting it control you. This is the revolution happening within you, the shift that sustains itself. Not because you've erased every shadow, but because you've stopped abandoning those parts of yourself. That is what makes you truly trustworthy to the timeline you're calling in. You're not faking it until you make it. You're healing it until you embody it. This is quantum integrity, True transformation is sensed well beyond the words you speak or the affirmations you repeat. It's visible in the way you hold your gaze, the rhythm of your breath, your posture, and the very energy you carry in a room. When your presence becomes aligned and coherent, when your energy stops battling itself, the universe can't help but rearrange itself around you. This brings us to perhaps the most crucial part of any transformation: learning how to stay in the flow when every part of you wants to retreat. It's not about forcing outcomes or trying to control every detail. Instead, it's a gentle ongoing process of recalibration, carried out with patience and self-compassion. You're already familiar with visualization and setting intentions, but the real breakthrough occurs when your inner world begins to quake with uncertainty, and instead of running from that discomfort, you stay, witness what's happening, feel it fully, and refuse to collapse. That's the defining moment when you shift from simply being a student of manifestation to becoming the living embodiment of quantum presence. This doesn't mean pushing fear away or suppressing it. Instead, it means sitting with fear long enough for it to transform into something new. Many people don't understand that emotional regulation isn't about shutting down feelings. It's about maintaining awareness as those feelings pass through you. It's about observing without losing your center. When you choose to remain conscious within discomfort, when you soften rather than tense up, when you breathe instead of bracing, you're sending a powerful message to your nervous system. You're safe, even in expansion. This creates the foundation for transformation that lasts. You don't need to be in a perfect emotional state to stay aligned. What you need is honesty with yourself and a kind, compassionate presence toward your own experience. Alignment isn't about control. It's coherence. It's the ongoing choice to tune into the frequency of your future self, even as your old self murmurs fears and doubts. This delicate balance is where many people stumble. They chase the idea of a high vibration that requires them to feel euphoric all the time. But the quantum field doesn't respond to moods. It responds to consistency. Your task isn't to be fearless, but to become fluent in your own energy, to recognize when your heart closes and gently open it again, to notice when you're reacting from survival and choose to return to trust, to observe when your mind spins stories and bring yourself back to the grounding truth of your breath. It's these small, repeated decisions that forge your new reality. The quantum field operates outside of linear time. It responds to frequency, not clock hours. Your desired future isn't a distant goal, but a shift in vibration that often happens quietly, subtly, in moments when you choose to stop reacting and start breathing. It's in how you rise from a chair, how you respond to criticism, how you hold your posture when doubt creeps in. These are not trivial details. They're part of the vibrational code you send out to the universe. Picture yourself deep in the middle of a profound shift. You've been visualizing, practicing presence, and then something triggers a deep reaction, a memory, a setback, a harsh comment. Your stomach tightens, your chest feels heavy, and your mind spirals into old stories. At that moment, you face a sacred choice. Do you fall back into the old way, or do you pause? You take a deep breath, exhale slowly, place your hand on your heart, and remind yourself, we're not going back. We are safe. We are expanding, and I choose to stay here. This practice doesn't resist the waves of emotion. It teaches you how to ride them. When your body wants to shut down, you soften. When fear tugs at you, you lean in. You don't suppress what you feel. You allow it to flow through you without losing your signal. In doing this, you transform from a mere manifester into a transmitter, a stabilizer of timelines, a creator of coherence amid chaos. Choosing regulation over retreat makes your energy field magnetic, your new timeline sturdy, and the quantum field responds not only to your desire, but also to your commitment. If this message has connected with you and sparked something shifting inside, consider joining this community by subscribing. This isn't just content, it's a transmission. You're not merely watching from the sidelines, you're actively participating in your own transformation. Let's continue the journey together. In the final phase, we'll weave it all together, revealing how every challenge you faced and every emotion you felt isn't pulling you away from your true path, but refining your alignment. The truth is, you're already much further along than you think. You've made it through not just this lesson, but something far greater. Your own internal resistance. That subtle boundary between who you were taught to be and who you're becoming now. Even if it didn't feel dramatic, without fireworks or breakdowns, you've shifted. Because every time you chose presence over panic, softness over defense, breath over collapse, you took a leap. Quantum shifts are rarely loud. They usually happen in silence, in the stillness of the decision to stay aligned no matter what. Many believe spiritual growth is a straight line, that once you learn the tools, you won't stumble again. But falling isn't failure. It's feedback. It's the field's way of reminding you that your journey isn't about escaping human emotion, but about moving through it with greater awareness and a higher frequency. Alignment isn't a fixed destination. It's more like an ongoing dance between your awareness and your energy. Some days, everything feels smooth and effortless. Other days, it might wobble or even feel off balance. What truly matters isn't perfection, but the commitment to keep coming back, over and over again. That act of returning itself becomes a powerful ritual, the very leap that moves you forward. The more you reconnect with the frequency of your quantum self, the more natural it becomes. Not because fear vanishes, but because fear no longer holds the reins. Instead, you do. By now, you may have realized that the version of yourself living your dream life wasn't waiting somewhere far away, in a different city or a future year. That version was simply tuned into a different frequency, right here and right now. Every time you pause, breathe, and intentionally shift your energy, that version draws closer, not as some distant fantasy, but as your embodied reality. This is how true transformation unfolds. Not through force or striving for perfection, but through steady practice. Practicing presence amid chaos, remembering who you are even when your past tries to pull you back, and honoring the part of yourself that sees past fear and declares, "We keep going." When you keep choosing to move forward despite fear's loud whispers, something rare happens. You become trustworthy, not to the outside world, but in the energetic field itself. The universe starts to respond to your consistency, presenting you with clearer insights, aligned opportunities, and doors you never expected. Your energy no longer feels fragmented or conflicted. It becomes coherent, magnetic, and unmistakably yours. There's no timeline too distant, no frequency too high for you to reach. The quantum realm doesn't restrict possibilities. It simply reflects the vibration you embody. So, if you're listening to this and still wonder whether any of this is really working, consider this your sign. It is. Every time you choose to pause instead of panic, to breathe instead of brace, to observe instead of react, you break another cycle and release an old pattern. That's your leap in action. You're not behind, broken, or too late. You're moving forward, remembering, unfolding. Take a moment right now to soften your body, exhale fully, and anchor yourself back into your timeline. Not out of desperation, but out of devotion. You might even notice a subtle electricity beneath the surface, a quiet hum signaling a new reality taking shape. That's your quantum self holding steady, holding the frequency for you. So what's next? You keep going. You let this energy grow and deepen, and when fear inevitably shows up again, you won't be caught off guard. You'll be ready, not to fight it, but to breathe with it, walk through it, and maintain your signal until the universe responds once more. Because as you shift from reaction to regulation, from chaos to coherence, from survival mode to full embodiment, the leap stops being just a concept. It becomes your lived experience. You're not waiting for the shift to happen. You're already living it.